Much stuff going on over at RIT these days that makes you go, cool. We had Imagine RIT just a few weeks ago. Now the second annual Effective Access Technology Conference at RIT. Joining us now to talk about that, Ryan Raffelli, RIT Vice President for Research and Associate Provost, and then Stephen Day, standing right next to me, Associate Professor of Mechanical Engineering at RIT's Kate Gleason College of Engineering. Ryan, we're going to start with you. Why don't we talk about this? This is really great for folks who have a disability.
Yeah, whether it's the elderly or your wounded warriors, or even people who were born with a disability. There's never been a better time for the use of technology to help people with their challenges. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses. We need everybody's strengths to come forth.
And at this event, basically, you have people presenting certain projects that they've been working on, right?
Yeah, I think at RIT we have something like 60 different effective access technology programs, well over $10 million in annual funding. And so we're going to hold this big conference, get them all together down at the Riverside Convention Center, June 17th and 18th, and hopefully great things will happen.
That's great. And Stephen, I know people who just saw the shot a few minutes ago probably want to talk about this guy.
Sure. And so this is just one example of the kinds of technologies we're developing. This was a senior design project, so most students have to complete some sort of senior project. This was a team of engineers, mechanical and electrical engineers, and what they did is the stander is a fairly typical device for people, typically kids, who don't have the muscle control or strength to stand upright. So they still need to exercise their help their bone strength by standing. So, but with most devices, then they're stuck in place and can't move. So what this team did was take a typical stander, but then motorize it, and there's a small computer controller to interpret these touchpad switches.
And you can push those different colored.
We can push these colored buttons. The buttons were selected because they're a very typical kind of button that kids use in these devices, so that they can get around. Our main goal was to give them access to the classroom, so that they're not just stuck in a wheelchair while their peers are up and around. They can go to gym class. They can complete their physical therapy while interacting with their peers at the same height and eye level as their peers.
Oh, that is great. And Ryan, why don't we talk about, as we look at other things going on that's part of this event, where does it go from here? These are demonstrations. People can come and go ooh and ah.
Yeah,
where does it go after this?
So it's basically some keynote speakers. We have the General Counsel from the Veterans Administration that'll be kicking it off, and a series of distinguished lecturers will be coming in to give a series of keynotes. But then we also have booths where all the different service providers from the community will be showcasing what they're doing, and then along with technical posters showing the various technologies that are being developed at the universities. We even have one coming as far as from away as Uzbekistan, which will be presenting at the conference.
That's great. So we may see some of these ideas possibly in the next few years out on the market.
Exactly. That's
that is amazing. I know a lot of people think RIT, and it's wonderful what the school has done for those who are deaf and hard of hearing, but it seems like you guys have taken that mission and then expanded upon it.
Yeah, I like to say we're good at this. You know, we do have the National Technical Institute for the Deaf, but when you look at the technology that people are working on for a wide variety of disabilities, it spans every college at RIT. So I think that this has never been a better opportunity to showcase what we're doing.
Yeah, and Stephen, one of the pieces that, one of the inventions that I love, and I don't know if it's an invention or a project, but you've taken the 3D printing model and you have someone actually making hands and feet for folks who are wounded, who maybe have lost a limb. That is just incredible.
Right. I think even in real time at Imagine RIT, they showed some of that capability. Some of it's neat is how quickly that turnaround can happen now.
I'm glad you brought that up. In fact, so we're going to have a dinner on the first night. That'd be the 17th. The Tuesday night, there's a dinner, and the keynote speaker for the dinner will be John Shull, who is one of the spearhead behind the Enable project, and that's the one where they're making the 3D printed prosthetic hands.
Right. That is unbelievable. And then you have people come in, get fitted, so it's not like you're getting a generic hand. Or
well, the commercial prosthetic is unbelievably expensive. I never knew this. And the other thing is, if you're putting it on a kid, they're growing, so they grow out of these things very quickly. But they can print these things for pretty much pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, my last point on this, and if you want to touch upon this as well, is that this really isn't just for folks out there in these industries, you can come and participate and see what's going on, not just to support your local school, but just to have fun and really learn.
Absolutely. And one thing I did want to mention is that all veterans get free admission to the conference. So, you know, come out and support your fellow veterans and the wounded warriors. I'm sure you'll have a good time.
All right, great. Ryan, Stephen, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. R2D3, appreciate you being here as well. All right, you still have one more weekend to catch the Pulitzer Prize-nominated musical In the Heights. We'll have details when we come back.